All right, I've got Matt Kafora here, the big man himself, not only COO of Loud Rumor, but also owner of 7 Orangetheory Fitnesses and a dozen other businesses or more. Actually, you and I are even partnered on a few other businesses. Yeah. So, Matt, I wanted to bring you on the show, number one, because it's been a little while.
It has been.
But number two, because at our conferences, on our power calls, you are, a favorite. People really learn a lot from you. You've traveled down a road that a lot of people are either just entering or they're currently traveling, and it's very nice for a lot of people to be able to get these takeaways from your failures and your successes. So, sure. You and I did a talk a couple events ago. I think it was in Nashville for the Sales and Marketing GSDCON, and so for everybody listening, we have 4 different GSDCONs that we do every single year. Every quarter, there's a new one, and they're different topics. So the one that's coming up in February is people. And then we've got sales in Vegas. Mm-hmm. The one that people one's in Arizona. Vegas is in May. And then we've got another one back in Phoenix again in August. And then another one probably around November, I believe, right? And that one's going to be strategy. Third one is finance.
Correct.
At the sales and marketing one, we did a talk together on the things you have to be dangerously good at in order to be really successful, in particular in the sales process.
Sure.
It was 4 or 5 things.
4 things.
4 things. 4 things. So we get dangerously good at these 4 things. We could be generally average in everything else, and we'll still do pretty okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with the first thing, Matt. So, by the way, for everybody that needs to know, Matt's 7 Studios, he's with a brand called Orangetheory Fitness. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it's arguably the number 1 franchise in the space in regards to what it's done and the level of revenue that the average franchisee is doing. Correct. And the average, I think there's very few that have closed, right?
Yeah, just a handful.
In a long time. But you've had the number 1 and the number 4 store for a while, but on top of that, your studios they average out to well over 100K per month, right? Yeah. So really good profits, but more importantly, I think the thing that I think is most appealing is not only are you able to generate those revenues and those profits out of these 7 gyms, but how often do you go into these gyms, Matt?
I'm pretty hands off. I don't visit them all too often.
No, but you got a great team.
I do.
Yeah.
I do have a fantastic team.
Yeah, I know a few of them, and I've been to quite a few sessions and workouts there, and they're definitely a great team. So, Matt, let's talk about the first thing. What is the first thing people have to be dangerously good at in this space? They want to be extremely successful.
Fitness as a whole is it's a pretty simple business. It's not easy, but it's simple. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to let people know where we are, who we are, and that we even exist. So lead gen is truly the first step in the entire sales process.
And with lead gen, you're not just talking about paid ads, because I think when you hear lead gen, everyone thinks Facebook ads, Instagram ads. You're talking about a series of things.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, whatever digital platform you're running on is one line in the water. Mm-hmm. But you can't survive off of one line in the water. And far too often we see business owners who want to, sink 90% of their lead gen into this digital marketing. What if, Facebook changes, the digital landscape changes. We need multiple lines in the water. I love the ground and pound. It's not old school to me. It's proven school. I love door hangers, flyering parking lots, going B2B, touching businesses on a regular basis. I like the internal plays with your existing member base. There's a ton of different ways to generate leads. My best advice is deploy all of them. You have to have multiple lines in the water. If you don't, you're not catching anything.
Yeah. And we actually did, if we could put a little snippet up here, but we did a video together where it was 5 lines in the water outside of just digital paid ads that you can do in order to grow. You can't do it all with digital.
Correct.
Digital's 1 line in the water. And so, Matt, how many lines would you say you have in the water?
At any given moment, I'm working 5 or 6 different streams of marketing to most effectively get leads in. And how it works, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, is it's all layered, right? So everything works in conjunction with one stream or another.
Yeah. And we dove real deep. So for everybody watching, we're not going to dive too deep into it because there's a whole other video if you want to go deeper on that. But yeah, I mean, leads are one of those things where until it's gone, you don't realize how important it is. But once they're gone, you're freaking out.
Oh yeah.
Once you have a good flow coming in, if you can get 5 leads a day coming in on a regular basis from all different avenues, it's fantastic. And depending on where those leads come from, you may not need so many. If you've got a really good referral play, the conversion rates on referrals are a lot better. 100 referrals are way better than 200 digital leads.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what are some things that you do for referrals, particularly? Because I know that's something that everybody knows. At our conferences, every gym owner in that room knows how big you are on referrals. So what are some ways that you guys generate it?
I love my referrals. I think first and foremost, we love on our members, right? And we'll touch on referrals. We're getting a little bit ahead of the steps in the process here.
Oh, that's right. Well, you have one particular
Mike gets
type.
excited. I like I like this too, but I know you get excited. But I love the refer and receive play. The refer and receive play is really, really instrumental in a business, and especially our business, because I love my existing members. I love them to death. Those are the members that pay my bills, that feed my family, that keep my team employed, that keep the lights on, that keep the doors open. I love my members. So I want to be able to give back to them, and I want to be able to give them something in return for giving me more members to love. And that's that refer and receive play. And that hands down is one of the strongest referral generators internally in the business.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen gyms that we have working with it. They'll get like 100 leads in a day.
It's insane.
Easily.
It's insane. And the first step is just asking.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to love your members first enough to be able to ask them and get something in return.
Yeah. And when I say 100 leads, 100 referral leads.
Yeah. Which are crazy warm.
Yeah.
Those are warm leads.
Right. Right. Okay. So that's fantastic. What's number 2? What's the second thing?
Second thing is your client intake.
Okay.
So you've worked so hard to get these leads. You finally got them on the phone. You got them booked for a workout. They show up 30 minutes early, right, as they're supposed to.
Right.
That's their appointment time.
Right.
Right. We set appointment times versus class times. When you have an appointment time, they show up for that appointment time.
Right.
Unless we start, 10, 12 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
They come in, and now we're starting to build this relationship with them. And what we do in this client intake process is really we're aiming for 2 things. A, I want to uncover their reason why they step foot in the gym today. Now, Mike, a lot of people think when we talk about why someone steps foot in the gym today, it's their fitness goals. I'm going to say something slightly controversial here. Their goals aren't really that important.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So it's not the physical goal of I want to get healthy. I want to lose weight. I want to lose 40 pounds. It is the why behind that goal. In life, and especially in fitness, people are motivated by either pain or pleasure. Unfortunately for those individuals, more often than not, it's something painful that has driven them to take action. The beauty is they're taking action. It's our job to find out what it is that's causing them to take action, and then use that as fuel for them to propel them towards their fitness goals. So what we want to do is find out that emotional hot button. We want to find out that true reason why they step foot in the gym today. Their true reason stepping foot in the gym today is not to lose 40 pounds. That's not their reason. Right. That might be the byproduct or an outcome of them coming into the gym and something for them to shoot for, but something likely painful has driven them to take action and step foot into this place that is likely very uncomfortable for them, that they're intimidated by, that they're lacking confidence stepping into. And it's our job to be that warm welcome to receive them and to truly care about them and dig in on this client intake, find out why they're actually there today. The second piece that we're going to uncover in this client intake is any objection that might be objection down the line. So our job in this client intake is to uncover these objections, squash these objections, and that way we don't have to deal with them later on when we start talking about membership options.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. With the intake, there's a step before that's, not included the 4, because I think you're right. Like this is something that I wouldn't be dangerously good at, but you have some really cool strategies your team executes on, and there are plays within our group too, which is credit card to book the appointment to ensure that you have more people to show.
Yep. And
then also getting a referral on the booking. Like, who do you want to bring with you? We've got an extra spot open. So getting 2 people to come for every booking, right? So how consistent is your team with the credit cards and with asking for another person to come?
We ask, I'd say 90% of the time. I'll give some exception there. Maybe we don't have any extra room in class, to be quite honest, or we have a team of humans,
Yeah.
right? So I can never say that we'll have 100% perfection there. So I'll say 90% of the time we ask for, hey, who would you like to bring with you to accompany you on your fitness journey? 90% of the time we get a credit card. Mike, I can say confidently that 100% of the time we ask for a credit card. I'm never going to get it 100% of the time, right? But I mean, my team is trained to, oh, well, I'm driving. No problem, Mike. I'll hang on the line while you pull over. I want it to be nice and safe for us, right? We'll get some pushback from time to time, but 90% of the time we receive credit cards. So if someone's saying they get pushback, it's in their delivery in this. And my recommendation is role play like crazy. Get your team very, very, very confident in this credit card ask. Get confident while minimizing it, right? It's not a big deal. If we make it a big deal, it becomes a big deal, right? But all we're doing is guaranteeing that individual a spot.
Right. And the people we've seen do it right, they've gone from 40 to 50% show rate to like 90% plus show rate.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the idea, right? You're doubling the amount of opportunities. Booking doesn't make you money. It's getting people to buy makes you money. And you have twice as many people coming in to buy. It's a lot easier to make more money.
And it's a cool play too, because in the event that they do have to cancel, right? Life happens. We get that, right? In the event that they do have to cancel, we're no longer chasing them. They're calling us back.
Right. Because they don't want to get charged.
Right. Which I'm totally okay with. No problem, Mrs. Jones. Life happens. Does tomorrow or Wednesday work better for you?
Right. And you don't have to charge them.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy, right?
Yeah.
Then they have a fantastic experience. They're calling me versus me hunting them down. And then this person's still engaged in my lead flow. They're still in my funnel.
So in the intake process, when do you actually, like, when does your team do the intake? Is it when they walk in, you sit down right away and fill it out? Or is there some sort of like a meet and greet with the coach first? Or like what I walk in right now, when am I doing intake?
Yeah. As soon as you walk in, you're greeted, right? My team stands and smiles. Those are the two very first things that they do. If someone doesn't stand up as soon as that person crosses the threshold, we're having conversation about it, right? But that's what they're trained to do, because again, it's the warm welcome to the place that is potentially very daunting to them.
Right.
Something that is, a little bit scary. Likely our members or potential members are deconditioned. This is something new to them. This is something they're coming back to after a long hiatus, and it's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Remember, they just suffered this painful experience and now they're coming back in. So the second that they're greeted, my team is standing and smiling.
I got to tell you too, on that thought, there's so many gyms I've been to, and when I walk up to the counter, they sit there and wait for me to come up to them as if I'm like at a doctor office.
Yeah.
It's so, because you're a fitness person. Get up, use your body, come around, say hello. It just changes the whole emotion of it, as opposed to I'm walking up to the counter and looking to check in like I do at a doctor's, which
Right.
What's the feeling you get when you go to the doctor?
It's clinical, right? This is not clinical. This is carnival-like. I want it to be fun. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be engaging. So we're standing, we're greeting, we're smiling. I mean, these are really big pieces of the sales process that you can't really articulate, right? These are the intangibles of the sales process, but energy is actually a huge part of our sales process. The comfort level of that individual is a huge part of that sales process. They're not doing me a favor by coming in. I want to make sure that I'm extending that courtesy to them. I'm doing them a favor. Let's make this happen. How can I help you? I'm here to help. I'm not sitting back and waiting. Right. So I think that's really important. As soon as they fill out the demographic information on the client intake, right? That's the only part of the client intake that I let them fill out on their own. I want a name, an address, an email, an employer. These are all really important pieces. An emergency contact. Those are important pieces.
Why do you want to know like employer?
Yeah, you're putting the cart ahead of the horse, but I like it. I want to know the employer because this is a great way for me to get into some corporate contacts. Right. This is a great way for me to start to set up those contacts to where I can go do an on-site there. I can drive a tremendous amount of lead flow. I can set up corporate rates. I can go in there and do some wellness fairs.
So if you see I work at like a Honeywell right down the street.
Amazing.
But there's also a referral opportunity if you see I work at like the physical therapist down the street.
Amazing.
Right.
I love it all. Right.
Yeah.
And, I'm qualifying you to make sure that I can guess that likely you have the income at that point because you have a steady employer. I also want the emergency contact because guess what? That's someone who's near and dear to you, who is likely knows that you're here, who likely supports you and likely wants your best interest. That becomes a referral play.
Yeah.
Really, really easy there.
Yeah.
So like I said, they fill out that demographic information. That's the only portion of the client intake that I want them to fill out on their own. Talk to a lot of business owners who they fill out the client intake solely on their own. They hand back a piece of paper. They say, okay, cool. We want to lose some weight. Great. Let me introduce you to Trainer Bob. We're just missing a huge opportunity there. Yes, from the sales side, but more importantly, to connect with our members, right? Because if I don't know what they're wanting to accomplish and the why behind those desired outcomes, I'm really missing the ball here, right? I'm not capitalizing, and I'm not providing my member the best quality experience that they can. So it's really important that we actually dive through those, 10 to 12 questions, kind of those PAR Q questions, if you will. Really important that we sit down, and my team is trained to sit down next to them. Mm-hmm. I love sitting across from you. It's great. I can see you. We can talk. We can converse. But there's something to be said when we're talking something very personal to sit next to that individual. Right. There's no barrier between us at that point. And from a sales psychology, that's actually a really important play for us. So to be able to sit down next to you and kind of scoot over next to you and let's talk about something, near and dear to your body, right? Well, and where you want to go with it.
Bedros spoke at our conference, I think 1 or 2 conferences ago. And one of the things he said was he likes to put himself in the position of a buyer assistant.
Correct.
And when you put yourself to the side, as opposed to in front, here, there's a division.
Yeah.
But on the side, I'm literally your assistant. I'm helping you along your way.
Yeah, we're a team.
Right.
You've now entrusted me with your goals. Together, these are our goals.
So when you see that my goal on there, because you have like a goal, right? Like what's your ultimate goal? I put, let's say I want to lose 25 pounds. Your team is trained to ask why.
Yeah, and I'll even scale back from that. Likely, we don't even get 25 pounds, right? Usually we get broad stroke. It's, I want to be healthy. I want to lose weight. I'm like, cool. So yeah, we start to dig on these questions. Again, at the end of the day, my goal is to get you to kind of have that little cartoon bubble, right? So I want you to kind of paint this picture of who you want to be. I want you to visualize this. And we're trained to ask those, I'll call them detective questions, your who, what, when, where, why, how, right? And let's talk about this. So how much weight do you want to lose? Well, I want to lose 25 pounds. Okay. From where? Right? We start digging, you start visualizing, painting this picture. Now, Mike, tell me, what brought you in today that made it so important for you to lose these 25 pounds? Mm-hmm. That question right there is the deciding factor in likely whether or not we're going to make the sale today or we're not going to make the sale today, is determining that why. I had a lady come in one time. She told me she wanted to lose 40 pounds. She started out with hey, I want to lose weight, get healthy. Okay, cool. Let's talk about that. How much weight do we want to lose? What does healthy look like to you? Well, I want to lose 40 pounds. Okay. Talk to me. We've obviously built some rapport, sitting next to her. We're kind of getting together on this. And she says, well, Mike, my son came home crying from school the other day. I said, help me out here. You want to lose 40 pounds because your son came home crying from school the other day.
Right. How did that connect?
Right. I was like, help me out here. She says, well, he came home crying from school because the kids were making fun of him for having a fat mom. Mm. I still tell that story to this day because it really illustrates the fact that it's not the goal that's important. 40 pounds is cool. She doesn't know what 40 pounds lighter looks like on her body. Mm-hmm. That's a byproduct and an outcome of her working out. All she knows is that she needs to, it's no longer a want, it's a need, because as a parent, I think that's really important, that our job is to protect our children, right? You have 4 kids.
Yeah.
You'll do anything and everything to make sure that your kids don't come home crying from something that you have direct control over. So at that point, it's no longer 40 pounds. It's, I want to make sure little Billy never suffers the way that he did today. Mm-hmm. That's monumental, right?
100%.
But the only way that I find that out is by building that rapport, using these detective questions, and really drilling down to find what the real reason why Mrs. Jones showed up today is.
And Matt, to go back, like, this is why all those other little things connect. Coming around from around the desk, sitting to the side of me, doing it with me, because the girl at the doctor's office that I walk up to and that's not there, I don't feel as comfortable telling her that story.
Of course. But
the person that truly like gets up for me, comes around, shakes my hand, sits down with me, helps me, there's this feeling of you're here to help and support me. You're here, you're with me on this journey, like we said. it's a lot easier to open up and share because you believe this person actually cares, as opposed to it's just a process.
Yeah.
If it's a process, you lie.
Right.
You like,
You're checking boxes.
you're just, okay, yeah. I just go like this. No, I
Yep,
just
me
put a
too.
line
It's
down
a
the
doctor's
middle.
office, right?
Yeah.
I'm not at a doctor's office.
Right.
Right. This isn't clinical. This is relational.
Right.
And that's really important for us. So the only way that we're able to establish and build that rapport is by having those intangibles in the sales process, right? The energy, the smile, like you said, come around the desk, sit next to, have conversation, build that rapport, and truly uncover that.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, that is part of the sales process because people buy from someone they like and trust. And if I can get that like and trust from you by being an industry expert, by being a professional, and by showing that I genuinely care about why you're there, and then being a solution for you,
Yeah.
the sale's likely already done. As long as my team can deliver a quality product, which most businesses in the space right now are delivering an amazing product. As long as I can deliver this amazing product, it's a no-brainer for Mrs. Jones to find a membership option that fits her budget.
Yeah. And with all that information, you have everything you need to help overcome objections, as well as tee you up for the next step. So you have your third step in the 4 things you got to be dangerously good at. So I want to dive into that.
Yeah. All right, Mike. So the third thing, it actually comes from a transition from the second most dangerous piece to segue into the third. And once we have that information from the client intake, we actually have to transfer this trust. We talked how important it was to build the trust, to build the rapport, to find out the why. Once we have this, what do we do with it? Right. And this is where it gets very important that we actually do a transfer of trust. And I call it the handoff.
And the transfer of trust is, we see it all the time and every day. Like if you and I, we have a great relationship. If I would introduce you to my best friend, it's so easy for you to like and get along with this guy right off the bat because of that trust.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we're doing that same concept that people do outside of the gym. We're doing it now in the business.
Yeah, we really are. And I've now, as the client or prospective member, I have now begun to trust you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've taken the fitness professional position in my eyes, right? I've now shared some very intimate details of my body and where I want to be. And now you're going to ask permission to share this information with another fitness professional. And you are now going to hand me off to that fitness professional, right? That fitness professional is going to be armed with all the information that you just gathered from me, and they are going to continue along my fitness journey. So that's called the handoff. And that handoff is really important to move that prospective member from that initial intake process and that individual who took the intake process over to our coach or our instructor. Coaches and instructors have a leg up on kind of our front desk or our sales team. They're already viewed as a fitness professional. Mm-hmm. They already kind of have that. So now what we do is we ask our prospective member, is it okay if I share with your coach what exactly you're looking to accomplish? So that way we can make sure we can deliver the best experience and get you on the way to your fitness goals.
It's an easy yes.
Absolutely, you can. Yeah. So then we actually share with our coach right there in our circle of 3 there. And we share with the coach, hey, this is Mike. This is what Mike's looking to accomplish. This is why. On a scale of 1 to 10, Mike is a 10 out of 10. He's ready and willing to do anything and everything it takes to get to his goals.
And that's one of the questions.
Absolutely it is. Yeah. I relay that to my coach. Okay, Mike, you're in fantastic hands with Coach Bob over here. Coach Bob's going to take you through a workout. Mike, I'm going to come check on you a couple times throughout the workout. Do you need a bottle of water on the way in? No? Okay, great. Get you all set. I know we got to get to 3, but this is important for us because we're handing off and then the hand back, right? Because now Coach Bob is not going to be showing pricing.
Right. That's not his role.
That's not his role. He is a fulfillment guy. He delivers on the product, he delivers on the service, and he does a fantastic job doing so. He then walks Mrs. Jones, our prospective member, back over to me. Right?
The person that initially handed off.
Correct. So he walks them back over and now he does a hand back, right? So I hand it off and he's going to hand back, right? So really what we're doing is making sure that we're controlling this member's journey, right? And guiding them along the way. Like you said, a buying assistant.
Right.
Right. So it's really important. So now we get the hand back and it's almost kind of like the debrief of the workout. So, they did fantastic during the workout, right? Here's how many calories we burned. Here's what she loved. Here's, whatever it was, right? We get that debrief. And now we're armed with this information that Mrs. Jones did very well. She loved this. And we get a prescription from that fitness professional, just like you would go to the doctor. Doctor gives the prescription. Okay. Says, hey, I'm going to write you a prescription for XYZ medicine. I'd like you to take it twice a day for the next 14 days. Right? The doctor does not hand you the medication at that point, but the doctor says, here's what I need you to do. Mike, most people are pretty compliant with that when it's coming from a professional, right? I don't know about you, or me, but most people are pretty compliant when it comes to that, right? So that becomes the prescription that they're walking up to the front desk with, greeted again with open arms. That hand back happens. And now we talk about the prescription.
And that is another big differentiator between the typical doctor office, right? Because even though it's a prescription like a doctor office, the difference is the doctor gives it to the patient. The patient walks it up themselves to the front desk, and the front desk just fulfills. In this case, this is the doctor walking back up to the front desk with the patient and explaining what he recommends and why, and also just how good of a patient he's been throughout, right?
That's exactly it, right? And that bleeds into our third step, right? And this is the price presentation. The price presentation, if done well in all the previous steps, the price presentation turns into more of an order-taking process, right? We kind of show a menu option, and I say option, right? It should, realistically, you're showing one option based on what the prescription has been. Right. Now, when I say one option, it's, if that prescription is the unlimited membership, right? I'll give the month-to-month option or a term option, right? So there's two options in the same one option based on what your fitness professional has recommended for you. So at that point, it truly is an order-taking process. We've overcome all the objections prior to them being objections. So likely we're not going to hear, I want to try it out. I want to think about it. I need to talk to my spouse. Really, the only thing at that point that we can hear is money. And even at that point, we've already touched on money as well. But if it's truly a money objection, make them feel okay about it, right? Run through our objection process, overcome that objection, find a solution for that individual. Because remember, at the end of the day, it's more than just the sale. We are changing lives. And that's the beauty of what we do in the space. So I'm not just concerned about, let me get the sale. I want to make sure that I can find something that Mrs. Jones, A, can afford, B, feels good about, and C, is going to stick with, that's going to take her to her goals. So if that's not the top tier, if that's not that prescribed option, and I am going to push for that option because that is best for Mrs. Jones. But if that doesn't work for her, totally okay. We're going to find the option that suits her today, and we're going to provide her the stepping stones to get to where she needs to. And likely she's going to then move into the option that she's been recommended. So that's where the price presentation comes in.
And even the money objection, I remember pre-COVID, it was $5,300. That was the average American credit card debt. $5,300, of which more than 80% of the debt was considered non-essential.
Correct.
When I last checked a few months back, it was over $7,000. Is the average American credit card debt. Similar, over 80% is considered non-essential on average. So what that means to me is, even if someone can't afford it, it doesn't mean they're not going to get it.
Correct.
And they're going to get it if they want it. In fact, people will do more of what they want than what they need. You have more people going out to eat than going to the doctor, and the copay's less.
Which is crazy.
But it's true.
100%.
You going to the doctor is a thing that you need because there's someone out there that knows your body better than you think you do.
Sure.
And is able to make the right recommendations. But I'm going to spend $50 at sushi today. I'm going to spend $70 on a steak in a couple days. And that adds up over time. So people will do more of what they want than what they need. So with the prescription, although it's here's what you need, based on what you want.
Correct.
And that's the idea. So we always have to tie it back. You talk about pushing that hot button over and over. How important is it for you to hit that hot button, not only throughout, but then towards the end again?
That's where everything should always tie back to. Every single time. And especially when we start to venture towards the money. That we have to, right? Because it's kind of like, again, you know me. It's kind of like that open wound, right? A little bit crass, I know, but it's me. It is that open wound. And every time I want to get your attention, right, I'm shoving my finger in there, right? You're kind of like, ooh, right, okay, I'm listening, right? But it draws people back to that emotional tie. Remember, we're selling on emotion. This is not a transactional, right? This is an emotional sale.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important that we remember that. But if we don't have that information, then it turns into a car sale.
Right. Well,
Right.
because transactionals need, emotionals want.
Exactly. Then it's just a price game,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So now you got this person from one of your amazing lead gens
Mm-hmm.
that you have out there, all
Yep.
the different lines in the water. You got them to come in. You did a wonderful intake, so you know exactly what they want and why they want it, and you've got all the objections ready to go, rebuttals for those objections. Price Prezo was fantastic with the hand back and the prescription.
Yep.
What's step number 4?
Well, now we're done, right? The sale is over. I swiped the Visa.
Yeah.
Mrs. Jones is a member.
You're
High
never
five.
done. You're
Welcome.
never done.
The sale is not done,
No.
right? This is actually my most favorite part. So, Mike, all of our members, we talk about, they're like, I 10 deals on the day, 5 deals up for the week, whatever that number is. It's not all that impressive to me, right?
Right.
Because all that means is that we're 75% of the way through our sales process,
Right.
right? And a lot of people, I'm sure, think like, man, we swiped the card, man. Like, I got the sale, got it. What we didn't get is the referral, right? And this is step 4. And this is one of the most important plays in the entire sales process, right? We can talk about lines in the water and, we can talk about cost per lead and all of those things. But what the referral does for us is it provides this infinite return.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is it actually lowers our customer acquisition cost.
Mm-hmm.
And this is important for us because remember, people give a referral for one of 3 reasons: to help me, the salesperson, to help you, the client, right? Or the member that's giving the referral, or to help them, the person that they're actually referring over to us. So this is actually really important for us because our referrals come at a much higher conversion rate than our digital leads or a cold lead or something like that, right? They're much warmer and convert at a much higher rate. And they've already been a part of this referral process. They've been a name and a phone number that their friend has given, and likely they're going to sign up.
Right.
Likely they are now going to understand why this person gave their name and phone number and be more willing to give this referral. So what happens is we found this initial person, they give the name and the number of the referral, right? And there's a whole process on how we want to make sure, A, that we're getting the name and number the right way, B, that they're qualified, and then how we actually have communication with that individual, right? If that's you and I sending a quick selfie video, hey, this is Mike over here at Orangetheory, right? And we do that whole thing. So it really warms it up for that individual receiving that message. But then once they come in, we sell them.
Mm-hmm.
We ask them for referrals, and this process just continues, right? So this is the process of turning one into many, and this is the true differentiator in growing your business at an exponential rate or at a very, bit by bit rate. And this is why we say amateurs add and professionals multiply.
Mm-hmm.
And it truly is a game changer in your business. And Mike, we've had a lot of members who have had explosive growth just by flipping this switch. The cool thing about this is you don't have to be a business savant to make this happen, right? You don't need this massive business acumen. It is truly a light switch in your business.
Right. 100%.
You just have to ask.
And you ask for?
We ask for 5
You're
each and
happy
every time.
with?
I'm happy with 3.
Right.
So, some of our members are doing even better than that.
We got one guy that's averaging 7.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
7 referrals to the point of sale, which probably why they're doing 116, 120K
Yeah.
in monthly revenue.
Yeah. And rewind that. And, 2 years ago we talked and people were like, referrals. I don't know. I don't really like asking for referrals.
I don't want to bother
why
people.
not?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the mindset, right? And the mindset is like, I don't want to bother people. Right. I don't want to bug them for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to challenge that. And I'm going to turn that on its head. Right. You're actually doing your members a disservice if you are not asking for referrals.
Right.
And that's a bold statement because a lot of people come again from that mindset of like, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to ask them for more stuff. You're not asking them for more stuff. I'm asking you, Mike, how can I do a better job of getting you to your goals, right? Because we know working out with a friend is more fun. You get better results, right? And from the business standpoint, if you're getting better results, you're staying with me longer.
So it helps.
You're telling more people. Yeah, right? So from the business standpoint, our customer acquisition cost is dropping. Our lifetime value is going up. We're keeping this member longer. They're likely to send us more referrals and drive more business for us. And their results are exponentially better. They're having more fun.
Right.
They're a part of a community. This is something they need in their life, and they're improving their health.
Right.
which, bleeds into all other areas of their life. Like they're sleeping better, they're up earlier, they're performing better at work, they have a better relationship with their kids, their spouse. We are changing lives. And if we're not asking for that referral, we're shortchanging not only that member, but all the other people that we could be asking for.
100%. And it's called infinite return. We call it infinite return because let's say you spend X amount of dollars to get 90 leads, or let's just say whatever amount of leads, you close 30 members that month.
Sure.
Those 30 members that now signed up, if you got 3 on average from each one of them, you got 90 more referrals.
Right.
You should be closing referrals at a higher rate, but let's say you only close 1 out of every 3. That means you close another 30. Now with those 30, you should be getting another 3 referrals from each one, which is another 90. So every time you multiply that next layer, that next layer, that next layer, you're drastically dropping the cost per acquisition for every client that you get. And it's infinite return, but the cool thing is it's infinity times infinity, because next month you're spending money on getting more business again.
Correct.
And so now you got 2 infinities working where you're constantly digging into that same, that line from that referral, the initial one. So yeah, I mean, we've seen people go from 15,000 a month to 75,000 a month.
Correct.
In a matter of a year, but it's easy to do when you multiply. The reason it's easy to kind of get in a plateau is you don't lose customers by division. You lose customers often by subtraction.
Correct.
So if you're only playing the game of addition and you're losing by subtraction, at some point it's going to be hard to outsell attrition. But if you can gain by multiplication and lose by subtraction, yeah,
I'm loving it.
It's way easier to
That's
grow.
how business grows. That's exponential growth versus, kind of living on the hamster wheel, right? And we've all been there before, and it's hard, right? You're like, yeah, I sold 3 memberships today. No, I had 2 people come in to cancel today because they're moving out of state or they're sick or medical or whatever. And it's like,
those weeks happen.
Those days happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, awesome. I worked so hard to drive the leads. I spent the money on the marketing. I'm out there doing business to business. I'm pounding the pavement. I'm doing all the hard stuff to get the leads, to get them to come in, to do a perfect client intake, hand off, hand back, perfect price presentation. And then I lose, right? And I'm a net negative, right? And that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Or I'm barely a net positive, right? Because I've worked so hard to get there, but that referrals is your differentiator.
Yeah.
That's your accelerator.
Right. And
That's
you spent
the
the
way-
money, and you spent the money to get those members. With the referrals, you're not spending the money to get those members.
Correct. Or it substantially knocks down that number. And that's what we talk our customer acquisition costs, right? I spent that money initially, but now it keeps getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Absolutely.
Because I'm getting more and more clients. So it really is the differentiator in the business.
I love it. Well, for everyone watching and listening, hope you guys took a lot of notes. This has been something that the reason we wanted to do this episode is because we've seen how much value it's delivered to the gyms that have actually done it. So Matt and I have really worked hard, as well as everybody here at Loud Rumor, to build these programs out.
Yep.
So if you haven't gotten a chance to check out GSDCON.com, go there and you're going to see our next conference. There's always one coming up every 3 months. They're just different themes. Matt, man, I appreciate your time as always.
Absolutely.
I get to hang out with you all the time, but thank you for hanging out with
absolutely.
everybody else.
Cool.
All right, man. For everybody
Thanks.
watching and listening, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.